Let's talk Nick Wright. Nick Wright, big friend of the show. Haven't had him on yet. Would like to have him on. Hope he has me on soon. But he shouts me out like every other day because he has, I'm not saying an axe to grind against Brock Purdy, but he has a strong opinion about Brock Purdy that he's no good. And he uses me as his evidence all the time. So today did it again. Read an excerpt of my practice report from yesterday, and which I appreciate, and basically said, look, like there's a full phenomenon with the Niners. You got Grant Cohn, David Lombardi. They report on the same player in opposite ways. Grant is really pessimistic about him, like Nick is what he said, and David thinks he's the second coming of Tom Brady. There is some truth to that, but I would like to push back a little. Can I raise my hand and say, I think Nick Wright is way more down on Brock than I am. I think Nick Wright talks about Brock the way I talked about Jimmy. And for the record, I actually think Brock is very good. I wouldn't give him $60 million, but I think he's better at his job than Kyle, and I don't think Nick would feel that way. So I just wanted to point that out.
No, I agree. That's the first thing we said when we talked about this, is that I think that this is what happens when you have a national outlet who watches combined maybe an hour's worth of content on an environment that is persistent. I know that people love dipping into like Niners culture, but I think that we've been here long enough where if you don't really know like who Grant is, who David is, who Larry is, who Brad is, and have been there through the literal hundreds of thousands of hours that we've poured in, then you can't just give a quick synopsis as if like that's what it is. Because like you said, if you talk, I think you're very balanced on Brock, to be honest. Like if you covered Brock the way you covered Jimmy, I think that would be more apt. Like you pile drived on Jimmy. Like
I was like disrespectful. I didn't take him seriously at all.
Off the third turn,
Brock seriously.
You used to go hard on Jimmy.
Yeah. Like this guy isn't worth like actual serious analysis. Like Brock is. He's worth that.
Yeah. Brock is there. You know what? That's the point.
Yeah.
Jimmy had gotten so bad at one point that he wasn't worth analysis. It was just Jimmy's gonna Jimmy. We know what this is. I'm not going to waste my time trying to explain why water is wet. Brock actually forces you to assess him. He's actually a base. He has a base. He's a good quarterback. I don't think that was accurate. I don't think that you are so beyond the pale on Brock that you can't listen to him. Now, I feel like sometimes the response I feel like the irony is that for him to say that, for Nick Wright to say that you aren't balanced or you go off the rails on Brock, I would argue that that's more Nick Wright. Nick Wright is more his own commentary of Brock is way more off the rails and like fringe than your coverage of Brock, because really what he's doing is he's using your commentary to support his facts, but the context of what he's trying to say is not that what we're saying, which is Brock has to be able to show us that he deserves to be the franchise quarterback of the 49ers, and that, we're looking at it from a pragmatic standpoint of, hey, we got to pay this guy. So is Brock going to be worth the money? Nick has been kicking and screaming on Brock even being a valid quarterback.
Right, he thinks it's a complete mirage.
He thinks he's a complete hoax, which is like nowhere close to the reporting that we do. Yeah, we don't feel that way. So it was just ironic how he categorized your coverage of Brock while not realizing that his own stance on Brock is way more extreme.
Now, I don't think Brock's necessarily a top 10 quarterback, and I do feel like there are a lot of quarterbacks who could succeed in this position, but the improvisational ability, the mobility, the escapability, the way he can get away from pressure, the way he can extend plays, his scrambling ability, the way he gets through his progressions, all that stuff's legit. And I think people that are focused on his arm strength as the reason why he's not as good as his numbers say is like, I feel like modern NFL with defense is so concerned about giving up the deep pass and playing two deep safeties all the time that arm strength isn't as big of a deal. It's important. It's a nice asset to have, but I mean, Tua is successful. I don't think you need to have the strongest arm in the world to be good.
I look at it as like being a caddy of a golfer. You should know what's in your bag. Like
Yeah.
you should know what clubs are in your bag. And the course is the course. And if you don't got a 9-iron, you don't have it. It's just not in your bag. So you got to figure out how to beat the course. So that's Kyle's job, quite honestly. You should know what your athlete can do.
Yeah, like I would say there's no driver in Brock Purdy's bag, but he's got a 3-wood. He's got a hybrid. He's got the irons. He's got every club except the big 340-yard drive.
Yeah, he does not have that drive.
He's still very accurate.
And his putting game, we just got to work on his putting game.
I mean, his short game's pretty good. You know, I mean, clearly he's getting good scores. It's just not the sexiest product.
So let me ask you this, because I think that you can answer this question better than anybody right now.
Because I've been golfing for 3 months.
Because you've been golfing, so your hobby is there.
Sure.
Explain Brock as a golfer. Explain Brock's game, what his game would be like if you guys played together. And this is a guy that you played with for a couple of times, and it's like, this is my guy. What's he play? What's his game like?
Okay. So like he seems a little conservative off the tee to the point where you're almost like, come on, buddy. Like you're not even going to take out your driver. Like you're going to pull out your 3-wood right now. Like we're all trying to hit it 300 plus yards and you're just going to settle for like a 250-yard shot down the fairway. And so like you kind of scoff at him like, oh, this guy's the best player out here. Like you can't even hit it as far as me, bro. Like I'm out driving you. And then it's just like every hole, it's like, oh, par for Brock, birdie for Brock, par for Brock. And it's like, oh, I just lost another ball because I was swinging really hard. Damn, this guy's consistent.
He's steady.
And he's like coaching you while you're out there. Like, that was a good shot, man. That was really good. I liked it. Really even keel, and he pisses you off with his niceness. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not talking crap. He's like putting his arm around you. He's almost your caddy. Like, I think you might want to go with your 4-iron here. Like, Brock, shut up. We're not friends. And I'm trying to beat you.
Okay, so you're trying to get away from it, but I'm going to stick you to it. Tell me about the parts of his game where he would struggle, where you could see him having a bad day. You try to get away from it.
Well, he's got the best caddy. He's got the best clubs. He's got like $1,000 putter. I mean, all of his clubs are just phenomenal.
I see what you're doing.
You know, okay. He plays on the same course every freaking day, which he knows very well.
Okay.
But if you take him out of his comfort zone and give him some regular clubs and take away his caddy, how's he going to do? I wonder, because he seems like he has a lot of advantages.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, see what happens if he has to play the city course instead of that. You know what I'm saying?
And he's a country club guy.
Okay.
He's a country club guy. He's good when it's sunny. He's good when it's about 75 degrees. But if it's it's a little windy out there, all of a sudden, God,
the rangefinder goes awry.
Get to him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
I like that. Yeah. But he's the kind of guy who's like, he's so good that he pisses you off, and he's like, well, I just lost to him again. I don't know why he's better than me, but he's better than me. I don't like it. I don't want to play with him anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So now you got to try to like throw him off his game. Like, Brock, we're drinking today. Here's a shot and a beer. What do you say? And he's like, no, I can't do that. Well, it's like, well, you lost. New rules.
You got to go for the drink cart. Get the drink cart.
For every shot I take, you have to drink a gallon of milk. Go. You got to play mind games with someone like that. It's like they're too locked in.
Yeah. I mean, well, they're all avid golfers. Like, maybe we got one of these days. You should ask Brock about his golf game. Wouldn't you imagine that he's an excellent golfer? I would imagine that he would be a very good golfer. Like a very good golfer.
Yes. Like he has the temperament for it. I'm sure he has the hand-eye coordination for it.
Yeah. And he's got that baseball background.
Absolutely.